Now, breaking news from WRAL. Coverage you can count on.
Chain reaction crashes around midnight. Several people, including 2 children, were hurt when 3 cars piled up. How authorities say the first crash turned into 2.
And we're watching the chance for some scattered thunderstorms after such a beautiful day yesterday. Once this moves through, it'll feel comfortable as we get into the holiday weekend. I'll show you.
Phones off. Today, changes to whether your child can use their cell phone in class goes to a vote. The restrictions Wake County schools may put into place and the possible exception.
And preparing for face-off, we give you this live look inside the Lenovo Center, where tonight the Canes start the next phase of their quest for the cup. What to expect when they take the ice against the defending champions. Yep, the Florida Panthers in town and playing the defending Stanley Cup champs gets your attention here, even at 4:30.
Absolutely.
Right?
Third round, here we go.
Away we go. I'm Jeff Hogan, and Tuesday, here we go.
And I'm Renee Chu. Great to have you with us. Yes, the weather will start to change. Today will stay mostly dry, but Elizabeth Gardner is tracking when the storms will roll in. Elizabeth.
Yep, and weather, here we go again as well. This is a look at the current situation. We still have a flow coming out of the north, nice and cool out there, very pleasant. But this front will start to lift northward across us. It does have a history of producing severe storms. Look at this. Last night, coming right across the Mississippi Valley, still some severe thunderstorm warnings and some tornado warnings happening right now. This morning for us, we're nice and clear, but that doesn't last too long. By lunchtime, we start to see more cloud cover. A quick sprinkle is possible today. There's 3 o'clock this afternoon. Then we push it ahead, maybe an isolated shower or storm this evening, but really isolated. But this is going to be the main event. This is 3 a.m. It's still to the west. This is tomorrow morning at 5:30, coming right through the middle of the viewing area and then starting to exit around 7 or 8. So this is going to be a really early morning type of event for us. This is where we could have the potential for some severe storms. So we're going to talk more about the timing and what to expect coming up. But right now it's nice and clear in Durham, 66 degrees. The dew point's still nice and low, so it feels comfortable. It'll be a warm but pleasant afternoon with highs in the low 80s.
Elizabeth, thanks. New this morning, several people were hurt in a chain reaction crash in Johnston County. The WRAL breaking news tracker was at the scene on Big Pine Road around midnight. Highway Patrol says a driver failed to yield at the intersection with Barber Mill Road, causing the first crash. Then a third car crashed when the driver says they didn't see the first crash on the dark road. Several people were taken to the hospital, including 2 children. Troopers say charges are coming.
Breaking news this morning, just after midnight, Zebulon fire crews responded to a garage fire. This happened in a neighborhood on Lace Wing Drive, just off Highway 96. Video from the WRAL breaking news tracker shows a charred workbench inside. Police say no one was hurt. The fire did not spread to nearby homes. We're still working to learn the cause of the fire and the extent of that damage.
Covering Wake County, today a new policy restricting cell phone use by kids in school may become official. WRAL's Kelsey Coffey is live at Wake School's headquarters in Cary this morning. Kelsey, good morning. This would require phones to be off most of the time, but there will be some exceptions.
Yes, Renee, it would. Wake School leaders will be meeting here at the school board headquarters later today to possibly make a decision. This policy would impact how your student could use their phone in the classroom. The new policy would require all cell phones to be silenced and put away. Smartwatches would have to be put on airplane mode. There are not any rules in this policy that explain what would happen if a student is found with their phone. Those consequences are left up to the individual schools. Here's WRAL Education Insider Emily Walkenhorst.
There are a few exceptions to it, like if an emergency came up, or let's say a student has diabetes and maybe they track some of their blood sugar levels using an app on their phone, they would still be able to access that.
We'll be sure to keep you updated on their decision on air and online at WRAL.com. Kelsey Coffey, WRAL News, live in Cary.
Elsewhere around Wake County schools, 6 high schools would no longer receive Title I funds under a plan changed by the school. That system being considered today. Now, the change would affect East Wake, Knightdale, Phillips, South Garner, Southeast Raleigh, and the Score Academy high schools. Title I is a federal program that provides additional academic support for schools that serve more lower-income students. The district plans to require higher poverty levels for high schools to continue participating in it.
Covering Durham, tonight educators in Durham plan to meet with the superintendent. The Durham Association of Educators will meet to discuss ways to help keep teachers in classrooms and students in schools. Staff, students, and families are invited to attend. The meeting starts at 5:30 at the Staff Development Center in Durham.
Countdown is on for tonight's Eastern Conference Final at the Lenovo Center. The Canes take on the Florida Panthers. It is game one starting at 8 p.m. WRAL's Laura Levine is inside the Lenovo Center ahead of tonight's big game for what we can expect in this Final Four version of the Stanley Cup playoffs. Here, Laura.
Jeff, good morning. The Carolina Hurricanes have home ice advantage this week for the Eastern Conference Final. And check it out. The Lenovo Center is ready to welcome fans. They have these special final playoffs towels set on the seats here. So fans, of course, they're going to be ready to wave these in the air, cheering on the Hurricanes. The Carolina Hurricanes, they're back in the Eastern Conference Final. Once again, this comes the second time in 3 seasons. The Hurricanes will face the Florida Panthers, who defeated the Toronto Maple Leafs 6-1 in Game 7 of their second round series on Sunday. So for 7 seasons, Coach Rod Brindamore has preached a game based on paying close attention to the finer details. He says that's what sets them apart. Star Sebastian Aho tells us now they're up against the best of the best, and they're ready.
To be best, you got to beat the best, and they're defending cup champs and obviously a really good team, and it's going to be a great challenge for us, but we're ready, we're hungry, and I can't wait.
Yeah, they're hungry and they're ready to eat tonight here inside the Lenovo Center. The puck drops at 8 p.m. and then Game 2 will take place here on Thursday. Laura Levine, WRAL News, live in Raleigh.
WRAL is your home for exclusive post-game analysis of the Canes during their playoff run. No one covers the Canes like we do, with coverage from our team of experts, including former Canes Shane Willis. So don't miss Canes exclusive post-game live tonight, 11:25 on WRAL.
One person is injured after a shooting in Smithfield. This happened yesterday afternoon on K Drive. Video from the WRAL Breaking News Tracker shows a bullet hole in a car. Police have not said if they have any information on the shooter.
State House lawmakers are expected to start debating the state budget today. That proposal includes raises for teachers and state employees this year. They're calling for teachers to get an average 8.7% raise over the next 2 years. That would be weighted toward beginning teachers, who would see a big jump to $48,000 a year if the proposal becomes law. State employees would get at least a 2.5% raise this year. House leaders say they plan to approve the spending plan later this week. Then they have to reach a compromise with the state Senate, which called for smaller raises.
After a 2-hour phone call with Vladimir Putin, President Trump says Russia and Ukraine will immediately start ceasefire talks. The White House says the details are up to both sides. Putin says he's ready to work with Ukraine and is back in contact with Ukrainian officials. The new American Pope offered to host peace talks over at the Vatican. The president says he is willing to conduct more trade with Russia once the war is over.
The NTSB started its safety investigation into the Mexican Navy ship that hit the Brooklyn Bridge. 2 people died, more than a dozen others were injured in this incident Saturday. Officials are gathering perishable evidence from that scene and looking at 3 main areas: the crew, the vessel, and the environment. The investigation is likely to take months.
The Wake County Animal Center will have discounted dog adoptions today. It's in honor of National Rescue Dog Day. Adoption fees for dogs will be reduced to $25, and cats will be name your price. Each adoption includes spay and neuter, vaccinations, and microchipping. A reminder, anyone under the age of 18 is not allowed on the adoption floor at the Wake County Animal Shelter under a new policy. The change is a result of a dog attacking an 8-year-old girl there last week. She's recovering from her injuries. 911 call on hold.
Every minute counts.
It could be deadly.
Yeah, it could have been.
A Wake County family's distress as their daughter was facing a medical emergency and there was no one on the line.
Robbed at gunpoint, 2 Raleigh drugstores were targeted in a matter of days. How a pharmacist says people in his position prepare for the possibility of crime.
And it will be turning cloudy today as you take a live look at Lake Gaston. Meteorologist Elizabeth Gardner is in the WRAL Severe Weather Center with the latest timing for our next round of wet weather.
From the WRAL Severe Weather Center, North Carolina's most experienced team of meteorologists.
443, feeling comfortable out there this morning. 64 in Wilson, at 66 in Durham, and 68 in Fayetteville. Right now it's clear, but we will see some clouds rolling in as we head closer to the middle of the day. It's breezy out there too. The whirligigs are starting to spin around as that next system gets a little closer to us. The winds will pick up. But we do have the top of the tower lit in blue for clear skies, and so it's a pleasant morning out there. Heading out the door, you probably don't need a jacket. Our temperatures are mostly in the 60s. The big difference is it's a little bit breezy, so if you are standing around outside, you might want maybe a long sleeve shirt. 63 degrees heading out. Temperatures in the low 60s for the kids heading out to the bus stop, and our temperatures this afternoon will be in the low 80s. It'll be cloudy by the end of the day, and then overnight tonight we have a good chance for thunderstorms. I'll show you the timeline and how it could affect the morning commute tomorrow.
Prescription drugs and 1,400 Xanax pills gone. Police say 18-year-old Zach St. Laurent robbed 2 Raleigh pharmacies in 3 days and threatened staff with a gun while he did it. WRAL's Julian Grace talked with a local pharmacist who says crimes like these are always a concern for the people working behind those counters.
Outside Raleigh Pharmacy, it's a typical day. Inside the drugstore, Sentinel Rodnah Christian is getting prescriptions ready. But 12 minutes away, it was anything but typical. This after an 18-year-old is accused of robbing 2 pharmacies in the span of 3 days. Police say he walked away with 1,400 Xanax pills worth $16,000.
No, not surprised. I mean, it happens, if not in Raleigh, it might happen in Greensboro, it might happen in Charlotte, or it might happen in out of state. But it's happening somewhere in the U.S. every single day, I assume.
Over the years, pharmacies have tightened security. They added time-delayed safes and increased surveillance. But despite that, the threats are still out there for drugstores. That's why those who work here are in constant communication.
Yes, it's being shared by our friends groups. All the pharmacists, they will share it. Oh, this has happened to me, or this has happened to my friends. So I do hear that time to time, yes.
A Morrisville man is facing at least 13 years in prison after pleading guilty to his wife's murder. Michael Matthews pleaded guilty to second-degree murder for the April 2023 shooting. Prosecutors say Matthews shot his wife, then staged her death to appear as a suicide, even writing a long suicide note. 33-year-old Nabaruna Karmakar was found dead in the couple's home after he called 911 to report a suicide. A friend who spoke in court said Karmakar had recently asked for a divorce. A Wake County family is demanding answers after they say 911 put them on hold while their daughter was having a severe allergic reaction. John and Heather Bucios say they made the call Saturday morning after an EpiPen didn't work. They say when they called, an automated message told them to hold. And after waiting, they took their daughter to the hospital themselves. The couple says every second counts when dealing with a possible life-threatening reaction.
If she ever were to have a reaction like that, I feel, how can I rely that the 911 would be there to answer? Yeah. I mean, at this point, it would be, if it were to happen again, it would be like, get in the car, I'll call 911, and if I get through, then I'll let them know that you're on the road.
We asked Raleigh Wake 911 about what happened. They said the call volume at the time spiked and the call went into the overflow queue. If a caller stays on the line while in the queue, their call will be answered, but it may take some time. Raleigh Wake 911 said they generally answer 90% of calls within 10 seconds.
Central part of the U.S. just can't catch a break from severe weather. This is drone video from a small town in Kansas about an hour outside Wichita. Look at the damage left behind there. A tornado hit yesterday morning, left all that damage there. Millions of people are at risk for severe weather again today. Amy Kiley reports.
A weather system responsible for powerful tornadoes and dangerous supercells is moving east today. Forecasters say the Mid-South is the epicenter, with risks to surrounding states. They predict a chance of supercell thunderstorms. Those can last for hours due to an updraft rotation, according to the National Weather Service. Forecasters say other risks today include flash floods, strong tornadoes, and very large hail. That includes in some areas still recovering after roughly 100 tornadoes struck the central and eastern U.S. in recent days.
It seemed like a longer time, but it was probably seconds. My family went to the corner of the closet, and I was in front of the door holding it as I could hear the noise and the pressure on the door.
More than 24 people are dead as a result of that weather. Kentucky reports the most fatalities, and it's in the crosshairs again today.
He wrapped himself around my sister. I guess when the tornado hit, that it just separated them.
The St. Louis mayor says human error hindered tornado sirens Friday. Now she says the city is ready for this next round of weather.
Our fire department will be moving forward with the role of making sure that that is deployed from this point forward.
I'm Amy Kiley reporting.
And that storm system that hit the central part of our country now moving towards us. Meteorologist Elizabeth Gardner is tracking that for us and the timeline and the impacts.
You can see where it is right now. This powerful line of thunderstorms continues to move across parts of the south here. Of course, all the yellow boxes are where we have severe thunderstorm warnings, and some red boxes still popping up there with tornado warnings. Those at least have expired for the moment, but will continue across the Mississippi Valley. And of course, all this heads toward us. We're on the comfortable side of this system right now. We're on the north side of the front, and so our temperatures yesterday were definitely warm, but our humidity was low, and it still is this morning. But all this will move across our area late tonight into early tomorrow. You can see where the main severe weather threat is today. That level 3 risk is for a huge chunk here of parts of the South, Midwest, Mississippi Valley area. We have a level 1 risk for severe storms, and the way the storm threat works is it actually lasts tonight all the way through about 7 or 8 a.m. tomorrow morning. And so this will cover what we'll end up seeing overnight tonight, that level 1 risk will. We're not looking at anything really happening during the daytime, and not really until after midnight tonight. Biggest threat's going to be damaging wind. You can see a large hail threat in the western part of our viewing area and a tornado threat just in our southwestern counties. We'll have a small threat for some isolated showers and thunderstorms after lunchtime. This is a look at lunchtime. We'll push that ahead to 3 o'clock and then on toward 5 o'clock. You can see just how quiet things are. But as we get past midnight, we start to see a better chance of some storms starting in the north. Around 4 or 5 a.m., it starts to move through the triangle, and then by 7 and 8 o'clock, it starts to move out of the viewing area. And then the potential for a few isolated storms later in the day as well. This is a live look at Durham right now, where it is 66 degrees, so it feels comfortable. Dew points way down in the 50s. Apex 65, Garner's at 65 this morning, so mostly mid 60s. And we'll see highs in the low 80s for this afternoon, mid 80s over in Fayetteville. Okay, game 1 is this evening. If you're going to be tailgating, everything looks fine. Once we get closer to midnight, we'll have a better chance of some isolated thunderstorms, but things look pretty good if you're going to be outside through the evening hours. Once we get past Wednesday, we see a big cool down. Look at these temperatures. We're going to talk about our forecast for the holiday coming up in more detail.
Thanks, Elizabeth. New places to go. There are 2 additional nonstop international destinations coming to RDU next month, where you'll be able to take a direct flight over the border.
Home sweet home. 2 towns in the Triangle made the cut for U.S. News and World Report's Best Places to Live. In our next hour, 5 on Your Side takes a look at what makes them so special.
Denzel Washington got a surprise honor at the Cannes Film Festival, and we will have to wait a little longer for the new Ninja Turtles movie. David Daniel has your Hollywood Minute.
Denzel Washington's first ever trip to the Cannes Film Festival was a memorable one. The festival's director surprised the iconic actor with an honorary Palme d'Or for lifetime achievement, prompting a lengthy standing ovation. Washington was at Cannes for the premiere of his latest film with Spike Lee, Highest to Lowest, which hits theaters in August. Eva Longoria is teaming up with Kim Kardashian. Deadline reports Longoria is set to direct the female ensemble film The Fifth Wheel. Kardashian is on board to star in and executive produce the movie.
Boys, where have you been?
Fans of the Heroes in a Half Shell will have to cool their jets a bit longer. Paramount has pushed back the sequel to Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles Mutant Mayhem nearly a year, from October 2026 to September 2027.
Well, nothing we can do. You guys want to grab pizza?
In Hollywood, I'm David Daniel.
Summer travel is ramping up at RDU. The airport announced 2 new international destinations. RDU will add service to Vancouver through Air Canada starting June 5th. And Canadian airline WestJet will debut service with a nonstop flight to Calgary on June 9th. Both new routes are seasonal and will run 3 times a week.
18 miles of road in Granville County will be getting improved. A $2.3 million project will focus on secondary roads, including the old NC 75 bridge over Ledge Creek and Providence Road. Lawrence Road from Horseshoe Road to the Wake-Granville County line, among other roads getting work done. That work is expected to wrap up by late fall of next year.
Health plan details. Today, state employees will learn more about how their coverage will work in the future, why some may find themselves paying a higher cost for insurance.
Losing resources. 6 Wake County high schools may no longer be eligible for federal funding for student support services. Who is affected and what is prompting that change?
Hitting the ice. You're looking live inside Lenovo Center, where the puck drops tonight for the next round of the Stanley Cup playoffs. What to expect as you cheer on the Canes in their matchup with the defending Cup champions.